Co-parenting with a man often described as a sex-crazed alcoholic who is actively spiraling to his death doesn't sound like the easiest thing, but it sounds like Kourtney's still trying to make it work. For the children. And only for the children, because Kourtney's bracing herself for disappointment every step of the way. This isn't just about Scott Disick's rampant partying back in May. Scott's string of bad behavior has been going on for months, with Bella Thorne but also with various other young women. Most recently, as we mentioned, was a report that Scott Disick was groping a pair of young women while sloppy drunk in a Hamptons bar before yelling his desire for a blowjob. Does anyone remember when Scott Disick used to be snarky but charming? We remember. But it's been a while. Lately, Scott Disick touching Bella Thorne's boob ostensibly to hide her nipple is about as gentlemanly as he seems to get. It's sad. As we've mentioned, TMZ reports that a source close to Kourtney and Scott says that the two are making it work. Kourtney has apparently laid out some ground rules for co-parenting. First, Scott needs to stop with his hard partying, which sounds a little ambiguous. Like, doing coke would be hard partying, but how much alcohol constitutes hard partying, exactly? And if she could trust Scott's judgment on how much partying is too much partying, then they wouldn't be in this situation in the first place, right? Second of all, Scott has to respect that Kourtney is dating Jens Benjamin, a super hot younger model. Now, no one should judge Kourtney for enjoying her life in that manner. Scott Disick, of literally all people in the world, has zero right to judge Kourtney for that or just about anything. But since Scott's non-chemical weakness lately seems to be teenage models who are just this side of legal adulthood, he doesn't even have enough high ground to point at Jens' age, 23. This can't be easy for either of them. Between hurt feelings on both of their parts and Scott Disick's self-destructive impulses that he cannot seem to resist. But apparently the couple recently spent time together with their children in Nantucket. The big priority there was apparently that they wanted to show the children how dedicated they were to getting along. That's super sweet. We'd be less amazed at the apparent sweetness if they were moving back in together purely for the children. It's one thing to put on your game face and spend a few days with your ex and the children you share. But when people who shouldn't still be together, and Scott's behavior this summer and spring has convinced us that he and Kourtney can probably never return to what they once were, try to make it work full-time, it doesn't do the kids any favors. In those situations, the parents are miserable and the children pick up on it. Whether the parents are fighting all of the time or cold to each other or whatever, the kids know. In many cases, they end up blaming themselves for their parents' misery. A vacation, on the other hand, is just the right amount of time that two reasonably mature adults, or even Scott Disick, can be their best selves for a little while. Of course, TMZ wasn't specific about exactly when they did this co-parenting vacation. So, we don't know if the Nantucket adventure was before or after Scott Disick reportedly called out his desire for head in a bar. It may be that he was letting loose after being on his best behavior on vacation. But we wonder if, in his desire to get blown, he's blown his chance at the next family outing. But Kourtney may have expected this, as an insider tells Hollywood Life. She wants nothing more than to have him live by his word, but she still has it at the back of her mind that he will disappoint her. That's understandable. It's been pretty clear from Scott's string of behavior that, regardless of his intentions, he's likely to disappoint. Maybe a few times. Kourtney needs to have him in her life because of the kids since they always ask for him, but she still thinks he will mess up again. She hopes not, but he has disappointed her before so she expects it again. Realistic expectations are actually so important. So maybe he hasn't blown it, after all. Honestly, the best thing for him might be to have a little hope, even if it isn't of getting back with Kourtney. Maybe time with his kids can reach him in a way that nothing else can.